Space Coconut.
Okay, so I came back from my trip and did the stuff over the weekend, and today's Monday right now. Christmas Eve is tomorrow, which, if I do this right, you'll be watching it right now, and it's Christmas Eve today. I really want to finish the Hag Guide, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take kind of an extended break during this holiday season, up until I think the second ish, and see how much writing and recording and editing I can get done in that time. So, because the gameplay never, I don't really do very good gameplay videos. I'm just gonna kind of leave for a while. We'll see how the subs go and all of that stuff. But I mean, I'm not a very big YouTuber right now, so it's not a huge deal. But I think the new Hag Guide is kind of important to finish. I've been promising it to you guys for like almost a year now, so I should get that finished. So I'm going to work on that during this next couple of weeks. As I go, I'm going to see if I can't drop clips of my progress on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, go ahead and do that. The link is in the description, and you can get some clips and heads up of the guide as it comes along. But now that we've reached tier 4 in the tomes and the archives and all that nonsense, I just wanted to talk about like the challenges here. And I think the devs have created a problem for themselves. Well, obviously they've created a problem. Dead by Daylight exists. What I think they've done with the archives and the challenges, they're in a really hard spot, and I don't know how they're gonna fix it. All of the challenges are dull, are boring, and are artificially difficult by the number of tasks you have to do. Say, the Trapper's master challenge is to trap 6 survivors, with the traps. And while that is something that can be difficult for some players, most players are just going to end up farming it anyway. What ended up happening for me was I had Trapper on Bloodlodge, and I got 3, and then by that time, all of the gens had done. I went too far with one chase, typical mistakes. They went to the last gate, they finished it, and everything was open, and so I took a chance and I laid a trap down, and all of them jumped into the traps. Did that 3 times, finished the challenge. It's not a challenge if you farm it, so there's that problem. And then there's like I said, that's artificially difficult. And trapping 1-2 survivors in a match is normal. Trapping a higher number, it increases the difficulty, but not in a good way. It's very boring, very lazy. For 6 Feet Under, trapping or sacrificing all of the survivors in the basement, every killer is having the problem of survivors DCing, running away from the basement, for different reasons and stuff. The running away, I can kind of get that. I mean, it's going to be really map dependent. You're just kind of screwed if they end up doing that. But the DCing, when they get to the mouth of the basement, or they're about to get hooked, so on and so forth, and that's a problem with the player base. That's a problem with the entitled mentality that the survivors seem to have. Now, I got lucky, and in this match that you're watching here with Hag, that none of them DC'd at the end. So it's really nice. It really depends on the survivors that you get. And then this can lead us into, the whole DC problem that they have. People are just going to let themselves die on the hook, but we're not going to talk about that. The challenge is, the next killer, if they go in order, is going to be the Wraith. The Wraith is going to be the one that we have to deal with for the next tome. So, what are they going to do with the Wraith? The Wraith's master challenge is going to be hit 20 survivors coming out of stealth. That's literally his challenge. Is that a challenge, though? No, it's not. And the problem is that the game isn't really suited to this style of challenge system. While the devs wanted to give more story, they wanted to create more... They wanted to make people play more often and for longer periods of time. That's the whole purpose of the archives. It's not a generous move to give you guys lore and cosmetics and stuff. It's to boost their numbers for the company. And I'm sure you know that, and it's not a big deal. It's a company, that's what they should do. The problem is how they're going about doing it. I really feel like these devs have a hard time admitting that what they're doing isn't as effective as it could be. They feel like their ideas are gold and that we should just accept them as they are. And the funny thing is, you're going to have a lot of apologists saying the same thing. They're going to say, oh, you're just bashing on the devs for no reason. You do nothing but complain, yada, yada, yada. But what good is it to tell somebody that they're doing fine when they're not? How are they going to improve if you don't point out some of the things that are bad? I do not think that the devs have actually learned anything from this tome. What's going to end up happening is we're going to get a repeat of the majority of the generic challenges. Hook this many survivors in this many places. Finish this many gens. Do gens with these perks. And the perks this time, they're going to be related to Wraith. So, chase a survivor for however many minutes using Predator, using Bloodhound. Hook them in the basement again. Get this many surprise attacks. You know, it's unoriginal. It's boring. And it's the only thing that they can do. You know what? I think I'm going to make a list over while I do the Hag Guide. I'm going to make a list of all of the challenges we're going to see, and I'm going to post that to the forums. And I think that's going to be pretty funny. But regardless of what you think of the challenges, I don't think the only people who say that they're good challenges, are the people who have a position in the forums as a moderator or, you know, in some capacity to be a figurehead for the company. Everybody else is, you know, aspiring to have that kind of position. So, you know, they have their mouth wrapped firmly around that member. Although I'd like to try and come up with challenges, I'm not going to waste my time. We know that the devs aren't going to really listen to us. Any of the challenges that come up now, I'll preface this, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope the challenges I hope they really did learn from this tome, this experience, and that they made the challenges better. But I mean, we have the same problems we've had for years. The devs never listened to us before in regards to some of the major changes that need to happen. There's no way they're going to listen to some of these smaller ones like these challenges. So the challenge system isn't good for Dead by Daylight. It's not a good fit. I think it's too late for the devs to back out of it. However much money people spent on the Battle Pass has solidified it, you know, in the game. If you bought it, then it's basically going to become permanent. And I'm sure that enough people did to make it a permanent fixture. Well, now that I think about it, the Battle Pass isn't even part of the archives. It's just your reward system. The archives and the challenges are what we're talking about. Those still need work. And I don't believe that the devs are capable of making it a good system. They refuse to hire more people. They refuse to hire more people within the balance team, within the design team. Well, the design is amazing. The new elf Dwight costume, that's really cool. A lot of the art and stuff is very, very nice, but the actual mechanics of the game need a lot of work. And they've said before that they refuse to bring in new people because they don't want their, I forget how they worded it, but they're a group of people that don't want more people to come in who don't understand the way that they think. And the problem is that the way they think is causing a lot of the problems that the game has. Bringing in new people are going to challenge those ideas and make the game better because they're going to have some back and forth with other ideas coming in, ideas that challenge their way of thinking, and they don't like that. I don't think they like... We could even borderline get political on this. If you've paid attention to the Twitter of the majority of the staff, you'll see that they have a certain way of looking at things. And a generalization of a certain group of people will show us that that group of people has a hard time opening their mind to other ways of looking at ideas. When you decide not to listen to somebody, you cause a lot of problems for yourself. And I think that's what's kind of happening with Dead by Daylight. The devs, they listen to the ideas that they want to listen to, and they seem to ignore the problems and the issues that go against the way they think things should be done without thinking about it. I mean, it's okay to just say, no, I'm going to do it this way because this. It's okay to do that if you look at the reasoning for the other side and really consider it and consider what would happen if you changed things. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, but tome number 2 comes at the beginning of the year. It's going to be for the Wraith. The challenges are going to be basically the same. this game, it doesn't have the capacity. It's not a right fit for this challenge system. So the challenges that we see now are exactly the same challenges we're going to see in Tome number 2. They're just harder dailies, and in some cases they're going to require perks and other things like that. So welcome to the new Dead by Daylight. I'm very interested in trying new games and trying different things, but honestly, I'm really picky with my time. As you can see, I don't have a lot of time to play games. So if I do play a game, I want to make sure it's a game that I'm going to enjoy. I might dip into Path of Exile again. That expansion's coming out, but I don't like quitting. I don't like losing a character. I like building up and focusing on one character or a few, but not resetting it. So the league system that Path of Exile has, I don't really enjoy that. There are a lot of things that I haven't accomplished in that game, but I don't know, it'd be interesting to do. But their expansion that's coming out, Path of Exile 2, it's going to be really neat, I think. And I really like how they're tweaking the gem system in that. So I'll probably look into that. Still waiting on Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. They did a reveal for a project that they're working on, which is starting to look pretty good. I'll cover more of that game when there's more to cover. Right now, everybody's just speculating. Everybody's just talking about, oh, they've developed a new lighting engine and blah, 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 blah. And while that stuff is important and it's cool, it's not what I care about. So once stuff starts popping into that game that I can talk about, that I can get my teeth into, that's when we'll start talking about that. But for now, it's on my radar. And unfortunately, there really isn't anything else that I'm really interested in. I'm still playing a bit of Outer Worlds. The expansion for that, or the DLC for that's coming out. That'll be pretty interesting. But for now, it's Dead by Daylight. Not exactly by choice, but it's kind of my poison of choice right now. I would get into Arena, but the monetization there kills me. So no. I stick to Commander anyway for Magic. Anyway, I've rambled on for way, way, way too long. So, Merry Christmas. There won't be any videos for a couple of weeks while I work on the Hag Guide and some other stuff. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see the clips for that as they come out. And yeah, hopefully I'll be finished with it by the end of the holiday, the beginning of the new year. And we'll see how much the devs learn from the first tome when we get the second one next year. Once that second one hits and we see what those challenges are like, if you don't like what you see, you should really consider keeping your money in your wallet. I'm just saying. So, for now, and until next year, I'll see you in the fall.